Hey guys, welcome back to Talking with Tyler. And on today's podcast, I will be recapping the Dolphins versus Jets game that happened last night, Monday night, as the Dolphins took a 27-21 victory over the Jets. And I have my dad back here again, so welcome back there.
Tough times for the Jet fans, T. Tough times. Hard to watch.
First half was rough. As I mentioned in the last podcast, I feel like the Jets are a second half team, and they were because they scored all their touchdowns in the second half. The first half was filled with penalties and fumbles. Just the Jets could not control the ball, and just that was the point of the game. I feel like that's the reason why they lost it, was all the turnovers and penalties that they had. So what were your thoughts on most of the penalties were before the snap, so what do the Jets need to do to improve on that?
Yeah, I mean, man, it's just hard to comprehend. Our coach stresses discipline. Talked about all summer discipline. We're going to play different style of football. Discipline. We're going to play the Jet style. It's not the same old Jets, and unfortunately, either we're the same old Jets or we're worse. Like we had I think it was 12 taken penalties, 14 total, 101 yards. 101 yards and then 3 turnovers. I mean, and the type of turnovers, they're just demoralizing, debilitating. We go down the length of the field. The Jets go down the length of the field all the way down to the one, and then Allen fumbles the ball. Then the very next possession that we get back, Fields fumbles the ball. And some miraculous way after towards the end of the first half, Nick Folk, the 40-year-old kicker, been in the league for 18 years, hits a 58-yarder, and the Jets are down 10-3. And they get the ball back starting in the third quarter. And the sideline reporter interviews Aaron Glenn and says, what do we need to do? We need to clean up. We're going to talk about it at halftime. We can't turn the ball over. We got to be focused. We got to be disciplined. Then what happens? We get the opening kickoff, and what happens?
Fumble. It is Isaiah Williams. We brought him up. I think we cleaned him off waivers last week, and this guy has not shown anything to why he should still be on the team. I feel like he should be cut today.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Gibson was cut after having that fumble, and this guy's still here. Nobody wants anyone to lose their job, but you fumble the ball, and then I think it was two possessions later, he's at the 10-yard line. The ball's hit over his head. He drops back 8 more yards, and he fair catches at the 2. It's just a bad brand of football, and the Jets are 0-4, and the season is virtually over. Virtually over. I mean, I know you don't like to hear that. I don't like to say it, and then, of course, because I'm an idiotic Jet fan, I look and I say, you know what? Dallas hasn't played well, but they play better than us. But you know what? You never know. We're home. We might catch lightning in a bottle. Maybe it'd be a shootout, and the Jets happen to get a win. And then there's 3 other games that we play where they're, play teams with a losing record. Man, you win 4 in a row, and all of a sudden you're 4-4 going into the break. What gives you the thought process that we would actually win a game, let alone 4 in a row? It's mind-boggling. But as a Jet fan, you have to make something in your head to just keep going, because it's difficult. And this is coming off of a New York Mets absolute disaster debacle second half of the season. So for you and I, the Mets and the Jets, it's just a life of misery. It's difficult. It really is.
Another thing I wanted to bring up about Isaiah Williams, the kick returner. It's his first time with the Jets. So, and who do you want as your kick returner? We had Isaiah Davis.
I want Leon Washington back. That's who I want back. Yeah, I mean, listen, Isaiah Davis. I mean, listen, there's a couple things that I think we could talk about in this podcast. Let's just look at the stat line for the game. Jets total yards 404 as opposed to their 300. Passing yards, 207 for the Jets, opposed to their 177. Rushing yards, we rushed the ball. We ran it down their throats. Now, I know there was a big play with Justin Fields for 50-something yards on a 4th and 1, but 197 yards to their 123. Yards per play, 7.1 over 5.4. 23 first downs over their 19. 4th and 9 for a 3rd down efficiency. We were 1 for 2, 4th down efficiency. We had 57 total plays to their 56. We let up 2 sacks. We didn't have any sacks. And we only had 2 punts, and they had 4. But what's the name of the game? Turning the ball over. Turn the ball over 3 times. And that's difficult. It's tough to win that way.
Definitely is. So another thing I wanted to talk about with this game was Mason Taylor. He was really getting a lot of snaps on the offensive side of things. So how much of a help do you think he'll be to this receiving group?
I think he's talented. You saw his dad and his mom and his brother there in the stands watching. He's a talented player. I do like Ruckert. He does have a little bit more experience to him. I think they both make up a pretty good tight end, core there. One thing that I think, Aaron Glenn has to kind of atone for and talk about, why is Breece Hall on the sidelines? Why is he on the bench? Now, I know you got a 1-2 punch with Allen, and yeah, he fumbled the ball. If he scores there, then everyone's talking about how great he played. But Breece Hall is a playmaker. He's dynamic. He runs hard. He finds gaps. He breaks off. He's able to catch the ball. Like Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, had a good game. 6 catches for 82 yards. Had a long of 23. Had a touchdown taken back by a ticky-tack offensive pass interference. Like, I don't think anyone had aspirations of this team winning 12 games this year. But you got to put the ball in your playmakers' hands. Fields, Wilson, and Hall. They need to get the ball more. They absolutely need to get the ball more.
Definitely. Fields was really electric in this one. I feel like we need to see a lot more of these games from him, because he only had 1 fumble, but I feel like everything else that he had was really good. He was 20 for 27, 226 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, and he really used his legs in this one. 7 attempts for 81 yards, 1 touchdown. I feel like we could if the Jets have this type of performance from Justin Fields every game, minus the fumble, I feel like the Jets are really going to be in these games.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and again, being a Jet fan, you have to look at, you got to take like mini wins. You got to take something good from something bad. Like when you think about it, I know the score was 27-21. Like it probably wasn't as close as it really seemed, but they didn't give up and they fought back, and they had the opportunity against Tampa Bay, and they had the opportunity against the Steelers. So, I think for some way you have to feel, or, just so you're not just down in the dumps for 17 weeks, like you have to feel some kind of maybe optimism that, hey, like we're right there. We're just trying to put everything together. It's going to take a little bit more time. It's just time is just not, time and patience is something that Jet fans are just, they've been beat down so much. They don't have that. They don't have more time. We don't have any more patience. We've been putting up with, ineptness and futility for the last 15 years as far as the playoffs. And, we haven't seen a Super Bowl since the 68-69 season. So, you watch a lot of football. You've been a Jet fan your whole life. You've only been doing it for 15 years. I've been doing it for 47. Like, I know you're still optimistic and things like that. Like, 0-4, making the playoffs seems like, an insurmountable task. What would you like to see from the Jets in the next, what are they, by 17 games? So in the next 13 games, and not really wins and losses. Like, what would you like to see? Entertaining games, take the training wheels off of Brees, throw the ball more to Garrett Wilson, trick plays. Like, what would you like to see?
I want to see the Jets be aggressive more. I feel like against the Dolphins, I feel like they were aggressive, going for it on fourth downs. And I feel like I want to see the special teams block more kicks because I was really hype when Will McDonald blocked that field goal against the Buccaneers. I feel like the Jets really need that to get their fans and the energy on the team really uplifting.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we haven't done a lot of takeaways, like interceptions, fumble recoveries. Like, other than that block, there really hasn't been much of that. And I know Quincy Williams is hurt. That doesn't help, but Sherwood's still in there. Like, could we get somebody to tip a pass? Could we get somebody, something to fall our way? It seems like when you're a losing team, you don't get those bounces. You don't get, those tip plays. And it seems like when you're a winning team, those things kind of fall to you, and they just don't, or they haven't, recently. So, I mean, Jets are home this Sunday against America's team, against the Cowboys. They have a stud kicker who's probably going to hit for 70 at some point this year. Maybe not away and outside a dome, but what would you what's your thought about this upcoming game? We've been to all the home games so far, and it's almost felt like an away game. Like, there's so many fans there. This being a Dallas game, our Jet fans are going to be selling tickets, and then we're going to have to sit next to, Dallas fans.
I don't know how I'm feeling about the Dallas game because they've shown their defense has really shown that they could stick with their offense, and they have George Pickens. He's one of the top wide receivers in the NFL. I just hope the Jets defense plays like how they did against the Buccaneers. I think that was the least amount of points they gave up. So if the Jets play like the way their special teams and the defense played in that game, I feel like the Jets are really going to be in for a good game. And I want to see Brees Hall get more reps. I feel like he's really split the time with Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis in the Dolphins game. So that's what I want to see for the next game.
All right. Now, coming up to the time here of studs and duds. Who do you have for your stud in this game?
My stud is Nick Folk. Nick Folk is perfect on the year, and he's also second in franchise history for the Jets in field goals made. So I feel like he's really just untalked about, and I feel like he keeps providing the Jets with 3 points in most drives. I feel like if the Jets don't score a touchdown, I feel like he's always making his kicks, and he had a career long yesterday of 58 yards. So I feel like that's exactly what the Jets need. And for the dud side of things, I have to probably give it to Isaiah Williams, the new kick returner that we had. He made a lot of silly mistakes, like fumbling it and then also fair catching it at the 2-yard line. It just didn't make any sense.
What did you think about that sound effects, huh? Pretty cool with your new system, huh?
I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't hear it. All right, I heard it. All right, my stud is going to be Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson has not been getting the ball as much as I think he would like, and I think he needs to, but he's still grinding. He's still out there. He's still working hard. You saw in the second half, catching a touchdown, having an opportunity for another touchdown. He's just got to get the ball more. He's a dynamic playmaker, needs to get the ball more. For my dud, I am going to give it to the defensive line. Did not put enough pressure on Tua. No sacks. We rush 4, we rush 5, we stack the box. Like I know Jermaine Johnson was out, but Will McDonald. We have Quinton Williams. We have to be able to put more pressure on the ball. We need to collapse that pocket, maybe somebody come on a spin move, somebody come in late. I don't know. Maybe we need to blitz a little bit more. We're supposed to, lock down corner with Sauce, which we really haven't seen. Brandon Stevens is still very suspect back there. So, I'd like to see the defensive coordinator try and open up some things and maybe do some delayed blitzes and things like that.
I agree with the Dud. I feel like the Jets defense. Where's the secondary? They gave up 2 touchdowns to Darren Waller. I feel like this guy is pretty old. I feel like I thought he would retire after last year because he had an off year with the Giants. So I was surprised that he had 2 touchdowns in this one. But Tua really was able to bounce around and really get going. I mean, his numbers weren't fantastic. He only had 177 yards. I mean, not stellar numbers, but he was able to drive the ball down the field and get 7 points when needed.
Yeah. So I'd say, it's getting towards the end of the podcast here. It's time for Tyler's takeaways. What's your takeaway from? We'll do it twofold. What was your takeaway from this game, and what is your takeaway from the first just about quarter of the season so far?
So for this game, I'm definitely liking what I'm seeing from Justin Fields. He only had 7 incompletions, 226 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. So he really showed that he could use his legs.
He's not the problem. He does not seem like he's the problem. I agree.
Just he has to limit the fumble. Just if he limits the fumble, I feel like the Jets are really going to be the offense is really going to be good. But the defense has to keep up. Just no pressure on Tua at all. They didn't have a sack on him, and they need to get some of the other guys working, like Jawan Briggs that they brought in the offseason. They just need to get more pressure on the quarterbacks because they're fighting a lot of injuries. So.
Yeah. Speaking of injuries, too, no one wants to see anyone get hurt, and especially catastrophic. So I think Tyreek Hill had a pretty Tyreek, right?
Yep.
Tyreek had a pretty horrific leg injury. He's going to be out. I can't imagine the whole entire season. His leg was facing the wrong direction. So prayers to him. Nobody likes seeing anyone get hurt. These guys put a lot of effort into maintaining their bodies and providing for their families. They're one of 0.5% in this world that could do what they do, and it's always sad to see somebody get hurt like that. So we want to make sure we mention that. And I don't know, going into next week, tough to feel confident for a Jet fan, but Jet fans, if you're out there listening, stop selling your tickets. And if you're going to sell them to a Jet family, somebody's first game, bring in a kid, bring in a family member, but don't sell them to the Dallas Cowboy fans. That stadium needs to be rocking. Even though we're a little down in the dumps here, we have to support our team. We have to get out there, and we're hoping that Aaron Glenn gets through to these players. I mean, he's preaching the right thing, but it's not taking place on the actual field. So we need them to get it through their head and then put it out there on the playing field. So it's going to be tough sledding for the Jets, I think, this upcoming Sunday. But I'd like to see them play hard. I'd like to see them play aggressively. I'd love to see maybe some blitzes off the corners, coming in and delayed steals, different things like that. But it's tough being a Jet fan right now. We're hopefully going to turn the page here turn the corner at some point in time here, coming up in the near future.
I hope so, and I feel like they can definitely pick up a win in the next, I think, 3 weeks, because I feel like they played the Panthers, and the Panthers are shaky. They had one really good game against, I think, the Falcons, but other than that, they didn't really do much. And I also want to throw it back to the Cowboys on Sunday. I want to talk about their last game. They had a 40-point performance in a tie against the Packers, facing against Micah Parsons in the last game. So the Jets defense really needs to be on key right now, because if the Cowboys offense show that they can score 40 points, I don't know how I'm feeling if the Jets offense can match that. and they have some really good players. They have Javonte Williams, C.D. Lamb, George Pickens, but C.D. Lamb's out, so that'll definitely be a help. But just the Jets have to really work their offense because the Cowboys defense doesn't really have a good defense. They don't have Micah Parsons anymore. Micah Parsons was definitely, I think, their best player.
They give up points. So, I mean, listen, the Jets have to, go downfield. They have to hold on to the ball, and it's going to be a shootout. I don't know if that plays into the Jets, but we'll ultimately see how it goes.
A matchup to watch is Garrett Wilson versus Trevon Diggs. That's definitely going to be the matchup that everybody's going to have eyes on because Diggs, top corner in the NFL, and Garrett Wilson is definitely eyeing that 1,000-yard mark, I feel like. Yeah. So I'm going to close it out with the show by doing a Jets chant. Hopefully we can get something sparked here. Just we need for our first win. Just we got to stop the misery.
Yeah, I hear you.
Jets, Jets. Thank you guys all for listening out there. Have a great rest of your day, and let's go Jets.